Hi guys, welcome to the new video on Sammy Saves. It is currently Friday, February 21st, and I just got paid, so I wanted to do a paycheck breakdown with you guys. I just wanted to reflect back on my last paycheck, which was 2/7. I made $981.98. I did mention that I believe the current paycheck I'm about to show you guys would be lower, and in fact it was even lower than this. So the budget that I'm going to be working with for this month and this current paycheck was $922.59. What I'm going to go ahead and do is actually just use this as our whole number of $922. Just make it a little bit simpler this time. So just like our last video, we're going to use the same fixed expenses. Fixed expenses being things that I know are coming out, I have to pay. There is no way around it. So we're going to start off with those fixed expenses right now. Okay, so I wasn't really loving that pen, so I'm going to switch to this one. This is the Friction Clicker 0.7 erasable pen. I just got these, and so I'm going to use it in case I do mess up. I want to be able to erase any mistakes that I make. So moving forward, so our first fixed expense is to the RV park. That is in a total of $225. The next one is Funtown RV. We did finance our RV, and my portion is $100. The next one is utilities, water and electric for here, and my portion is $35. Geico, $50. And then these next ones I'm about to post are basically my own personal fixed expenses. For example, internet, phone bill, laundry, and gas. And these things are kind of like my own personal fixed expenses. So internet is $40. My phone is $35. Laundry, we're doing $10, and gas $35. Let's go ahead and add all of our fixed expenses. $225 plus $100, $35, $50, $40, $35, $10, $35. So $530. And honestly, I believe that's what it's going to be every 2 weeks. $530 seems to be the number that I can just rely on and count on. It's the most accurate. So our fixed expenses total is $530. So we're going to do our $922, what we started with, minus the $530 of our fixed expenses. And that leaves $392. So the leftover that we're budgeting with is $392. So when I was off camera, I was really struggling on how to make everything work. And on different notebooks, I went back and forth trying to figure out the best way to do this breakdown. And I will say that I am going to need to do lower totals than I'm used to, including my debt and including my variable and including my variable expenses as well. So let me just kind of show you what the totals are going to end up being. So the next category that I always do for our variable expenses is SAM, all my personal subscriptions, and the HOA. So I did kind of highlight what I paid. These still need to come out, but I'm leaving them in my checking. That still needs to come out, but I'm leaving it in my checking. In fact, some of it has already come out. And my HOA, I have not paid. It's not due till March, but I wanted to pay my portion early. But as you can see, it's not highlighted because I haven't done that. So on my variable expenses, I usually do myself, subscriptions, and then any of the utilities for the old home that we have. We haven't sold our house in Austin yet, but I believe we're so close, you guys. It's coming up on 6 months. It's been a struggle. It's been really stressful to still keep paying on old utilities from our old house, the electric, the HOA, and just the gas, and even to have somebody come out and mow every once in a while. But that being said, I didn't pay the HOA here. I'm not going to be able to pay the HOA again on this paycheck. I'm going to need to wait till my next one. I'm kind of rambling a little bit, but I just wanted to show you that with this low paycheck, I'm really having to just do the bare minimum on these categories. So for Sam, personal, I usually give myself 200, but right here we are doing 154. That was the very last thing that I had left. I gave to myself. As you guys will see, it's going to end up being a zero-based budget, and so that's why it's just a random number right here, 154. And then for my subscriptions, we're just going to do 50, where I usually like to leave 85. And this one I even reduced, but I typically, honestly, you guys, like to give myself $200. But since this last paycheck was really low, I only did 150, and this paycheck is quite low, so we're doing 154. The 154 is for any personal expenses I might make, and that does include my fast food. And I have mentioned on this channel, fast food is pretty much the number one thing I spend my money on, including more than nails and clothes and shoes and makeup. It's fast food. So I really want to not spend as much as 154 and start reducing my fast food intake and spending even less on myself. And so hopefully I can not go over budget. Subscriptions, and then for HOA, I will write it, but I am going to put $0 for this one. So we have the $392 minus $154 for my personal expenses and myself going out to fast food, and the next one $50 for subscriptions. So that leaves us left over to budget with $188. So we're going to budget for our debt $188. And on our last paycheck, as you guys can see, I put 0. I wasn't able to pay that. I put 32 and 104.98. My car payment is $278 and 77 cents, and since my last paycheck was really low, I only paid $104.98. So I'm going to pay the remaining balance. I did pay the $32 for the Capital One. And on this paycheck, we're going to do the $14.80 since we didn't get to it. I will not still be able to put any additional money to my Velocity bill or any money to my photo. So to my B&H photo account. I'm going to just show you what that looks like then. So for our debt, we were able to do that Capital One for $14.80. Okay, and then we did pay the 32, so 278, 104 is what we paid, and 98 cents. So for the car, that would be a remaining balance of 173.79 that we're gonna pay. And then Velocity, and then the B&H photo are both going to get 0. And just so we can kind of finish all of them together, I'm going to put this other Capital One number 2 at $0, but that one just happens to be all paid off. So 188 minus 14.80 minus 173.79 equals, we're negative 59 cents. So like I said, I'm going to go back and make these whole numbers. So 188 minus 14 minus 173, we have $1 left in our account. So that's what I'm saying, like the change, I'm just gonna, I know I have the pennies left over in there. So even though it shows I was negative, let's be real, it was like 59 cents short. I'm just gonna do the whole number, and then we're $1 over. So that's why those little pennies, they do add up, and it is important to keep track of those cents. They do add up and it can mess you up, but I know I'm good for the 59-cent shortage in my checking account, so I'm not going to worry about that. So off camera, I have already paid for the RV park, Funtown, utilities, and for Geico. What else have I paid? I paid the car already, and I paid the Capital One. I should say this will have, I'm just going to put 0. It's a zero-based budget. So the internet, phone, laundry, and gas, I kind of just leave in my checking account. By the end of the month, it all kind of gets sorted out. The Sam personal and my subscriptions, I just leave the money in there. It all will come out. As far as the personal, I really do think I am going to go to the bank and get $154 taken out and start doing cash budgeting again. I mentioned in another video that I actually got some envelopes from the Budget Mom and that I wanted to do cash stuffing for my fast food. I haven't started it yet, and I think now is a great time because these paychecks are really low and I can't truly afford, and I mean that quite literally, can't afford to be off and overspend again in my fast food department. And then if you guys look back in my January expenses and even my 2-week update for February, I really don't spend a lot of money on myself. I spend about $100 on myself every 2 weeks, and so if in that theory I would give myself $100 and the 54 would be for fast food. I'm not sure how I'm going to break that down, but all of that to say, I definitely want to put all of my money into cash for fast food just to really hold myself accountable in a visual way, and if I don't have any money left, I can see it coming. I feel like swiping your card is just so mindless and easy to do that you don't really know how much damage you do until later on, and then it's a little too late. I will say that during the savings goals, I do a whole other method for this. I do a separate series on here with my cash envelope breakdowns, and this is where I put all of my savings for emergencies to get 1 month ahead, for my cats, the car, a beauty expense, miscellaneous, and my high yield savings account. So those are the envelopes that I use to keep track of all of my savings. So if you guys do have a lot of savings goals or you're interested in how I'm doing my savings challenges, that is its own separate video, and I usually do those in my cash envelope breakdowns and then kind of just show how much I have saved so far. So I will be doing another one of those at the end of February. One of the purchases I made in January was this home finance and bill organizer. I've had one of these in the past. These are at Dollar General and I absolutely love them, but it basically just has the month where you can put some expenses and how much income you made, but they have these little folders in here. And so for the month of February, I'm just keeping all of my cash tips in here. I'm going to take these out, we'll count them, and then we'll put those in the envelopes. So that was a little small explanation for why I always leave this blank. It's because it's a whole different process. But I want to say thank you guys so much for watching this video. I plan on making a ton more of finance content on this channel, and so it always means so much to me if you are still watching. I would love it if you left a little heart emoji in the comments. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video for either a cash stuffing or my February recap, all my expenses. I can't wait to see you in the next video. See you later. Bye.